Florida's Trump-loving governor, Ron DeSantis, has put in place a ban on vaccine passports. He says, not in my state. Hell no, we're not going to require people to prove that they've been vaccinated and in order to go into heavily crowded areas where diseases are easily spread. Nope, not going to do that. Not going to protect my constituents. We're banning that because I'm an idiot and I think it's some form of oppression or even segregation here in my state. Well, guess what? Even though Florida is trending very red, apparently most of the state disagrees with DeSantis's decision to ban vaccine passports. Only 24% of voters in the state of Florida actually support the banning of these vaccine passports, which for the record didn't even exist. I mean, technically they exist in some forms. They never existed for the COVID vaccine, by the way. But in order to go to a private preschool, daycare here in the state of Florida, got to have proof of vaccination. Registering for a public school and even private schools, got to have proof of vaccination. Want to go to college? Proof of vaccination. You got to work in most hospitals? Proof of vaccination. Okay? This isn't something new. This has been happening for decades here in the United States, and it's for the public's health. But DeSantis, never one to let a good controversy go to waste, signed this ban of these vaccine passports, and specifically targeted, by the way, the cruise ship industry, which has been grounded at the moment because of massive COVID outbreaks. So yeah, people are looking at this and they're saying, this was a dumb move, guy. We don't want another resurgence here. And honestly, politically speaking, it's a pretty stupid move for DeSantis to begin with. You know, what's the group that keeps Republicans in power here in the state of Florida? It's the old people. It's the old people here in the state of Florida that keep Republicans in power. They're the ones that have the biggest, share of the vote for the Republican Party. Take them out of the equation, Republicans don't stand a chance. And one of the ways to take them out of the equation is to not protect them from COVID. So you're literally putting your own constituents, like your core base, you're putting them in danger with this, just like you've been putting them in danger throughout this entire pandemic by doing virtually nothing to actually shut down the state. You were one of the last to close and one of the first to reopen. By this point last year, by the way, Florida was open for business, unless, of course, the businesses themselves chose to not reopen. And he waited until after the spring break tourism crowd left to finally shut the state down. And of course, Florida saw some of the highest numbers of any state. We still have pretty disturbing numbers of COVID new cases each day. Not exactly promising for Ron DeSantis here, but I wish more people in this state would wake up to the fact that this guy is an absolute train wreck. He's too stupid to understand what he's doing. He's putting you, his own base, at risk and then pretending that there is no risk and then trying, of course, as we know from Rebecca Jones, to cover up the actual risk. This guy is a friggin' calamity. And a lot of people died because of how stupid he is. That's the bottom line here. And that's what these vaccine passport bans are going to do. You're going to get people either lying about it or people just straight up being like, nope, I don't have a vaccine, but you can't refuse me. And people are going to die still. Needlessly. Stupidly. Because we have an idiot running this state that even a majority of voters think is doing the wrong thing. But I guarantee you, they're probably going to reelect him anyway.